So here we go, folks. It's basically the holidays and then Iowa. We're just under 5 weeks away from the nation's first presidential contest. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has visited all 99 counties in the state, and he's not done yet. The Florida Governor and First Lady Casey DeSantis are about to host a Mamas for DeSantis fireside chat and toy drive with Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds, who endorsed him last month. Republican presidential candidate Ron DeSantis and his wife Casey join me now from Des Moines before that gets underway. So thanks for sneaking away. Good to see you both this afternoon. Thank you for being here.
Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So I actually, Governor, if you don't mind, I'm going to start with your wife, Casey. I got two questions for her, and then I want to talk to you about some policy. You guys haven't done an interview together, Casey, since August. Why does it feel important for you to be back in the public eye and start being seen with your husband again on the campaign trail? I know you've traveled with him a lot over the summer, but in this way to do interviews with him. Why is that important in this stage of the campaign?
Yeah, Martha, I have a really unique perspective on the governor because I've been able to see him in front of the cameras, but also at home. As the dad of a 7, 5, and a 3-year-old, I've seen him fight a lot of battles, whether it's fighting Fauci or fighting the teachers' unions. And I've seen him conduct himself with grace and with strength and courage and never back down. And when you come from my perspective of seeing this, I feel it incumbent upon myself to get out to talk about him. It is not about us. It is about what we can do for the country. And when you see someone who I would consider my hero, I want to get out there and sing his praises. And I want the people of Iowa, New Hampshire, and beyond to know this is the guy that we need at this moment in our nation's history.
So Nikki Haley, we look at the polls. She's been giving the governor a bit of a contest for second place in Iowa and in New Hampshire now. So do you think, Casey, that you're here for this Mama's event, do you think that she is resonating with women, and particularly on the abortion issue, where she has a more moderate approach than the governor? Just your thought as a first lady, and then I'm going to ask the governor.
Sure. I think what you saw in the debate performance is she is not somebody who stands up for the rights of parents and the innocence of our children. And you saw that in very defining moments when we were talking about these surgeries on minors, these mutilations. She's in favor of that. The governor has stand strong against that, signed legislation. And so when I've gone around the state of Iowa, we see a lot of support. So we have now Mama's representation in all 99 counties in Iowa, and they are engaged to get out because they know there is only one person in this race, Republican, Democrat, Independent, who's going to stand up for the innocence of our kids, protect parents' rights, and that is Ron DeSantis. And so we see a lot of momentum, of course, with Governor Reynolds coming out and supporting Bob Vander Plaats and people across the board. So I think it's going to be pretty exciting. And also, Martha, I'd tell you this. We have a huge coalition across the United States of America of mothers and grandmoms. When the governor was reelected, we had a coalition of 1.1 million mothers and grandmoms in the state of Florida. That was the largest that had ever been done in the history of our state, and probably, I would argue, across the nation. We're asking all of these moms and grandmoms to come from wherever it might be, North Carolina, South Carolina, and to descend upon the state of Iowa to be a part of the caucus, because you do not have to be a resident of Iowa to be able to participate in the caucus. So moms and grandmoms are going to be able to come and be a part and to let their voice be heard in support of Ron DeSantis.
All right. Governor, I want to ask you, obviously this week we've seen unbelievable chaos at the border. We've record numbers. I think it's very fair to say that there is, that the situation is out of hand. Here's what you said at the debate the other night, which, by the way, the Washington Post poll said that you won that debate. Here you are on that issue. Watch.
I am going to declare it a national emergency. I'm not going to send troops to Ukraine, but I am going to send them to our southern border. When these drug pushers are bringing fentanyl across the border, that's going to be the last thing they do. We're going to use force, and we're going to leave them stone cold dead.
All right, so I want to show you a video. This is Bill Melugin shot this at the border, and it shows a man basically smuggling people through the fence. And then he shows his face at the end of it. So the Mexico side is on the far side where these people are climbing over. And you can see this guy, he's got his phone in his hand. He's got a nice black down jacket on. And at the very end of this, you're going to see him come into frame. And he shrugs his shoulders, basically looking at America, and says, see ya. So would you shoot him stone cold dead, Governor?
So we're going to declare the drug cartels to be foreign terrorist organizations. And when our forces or assets positively identify somebody as working with the cartels, then they would be somebody that we would be able to engage. But I've actually been down in parts of the border. Now, most of the border is wide open, of course, but the parts where there is a fence, the cartels will just cut right through it. I mean, it's honestly
we have a photo of that.
We
have a photo of it. It absolutely, just literally, they took some kind of, electric saw through that metal. So we're looking at that right now.
Part of the thing with that, Martha, is Biden does not let our people be there to stop it. He has the border people off the wall, off the fence, and so this is happening. So we're going to have all kinds of assets, from drones, we're going to have intelligence, and I can tell you this, once you start showing that you're serious about this, you are going to see a change in behavior.
If you saw
They're
a video,
poisoning our people.
I'm sorry, I just have 2 minutes. So if you saw a video of that man cutting that fence down and helping people across, would you authorize our special forces to shoot him?
So I haven't been able to see the video, but what I would say is we will have criteria for who is considered to be a threat and part of the cartels, and if they're positively identified, then they could be engaged. Just like I used the analogy at the debate the other night. When I was serving in Iraq, the people who were with al-Qaeda, they didn't wear uniforms with that. They dress the same as Iraqi civilians. So how do you know who is good and who is not? You use identification, you use intelligence, and if you can positively identify them, or if they're making a hostile action or they're displaying hostile intent, then you engage. Here's what I will tell you, though. We will engage appropriately, but just the fact that you're able to engage, that is going to have a massive deterrence effect, because these people are not going to want to go in there and run into a buzzsaw. The cartels have been eating our lunch for years and years, and they're poisoning tens of thousands of our fellow citizens.
So if you think
we not only have a right to respond, you have a duty to respond. We can't let the deaths continue.
More questions for you, so I apologize for rushing you, but just like in 30 seconds if you can. So do you think that what I think you just said was that if you were to shoot one of these cartel members, you think that would change the game, that the cartel would start to rethink their business on that border?
They'd have no choice but to. I think it would be very difficult to get people to want to do that. There will be people. You showed the video. When I was down there, there were these cartel scouts. Everyone knew they were working for the cartels. They'd hang out. Yeah. Then they direct people around the edge of where the wall is. And it's almost like it's a big joke. That is going to change on January 20th, 2025.
He's shrugging his shoulders and going, see ya, at the border. Governor, lots more to ask you about the polling and Iowa, so I hope we get another chance to do that very soon. Casey DeSantis, thank you for being with us. Governor DeSantis, thank you both. Good to have you with us today. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.